my name is Lauren Hollows and I'm here for NOI Education Services. And today we are continuing our CRICOS 101 series and we are going to be talking about marketing. So marketing, obviously when we talk about marketing as an RTO to international students, we've got both sets of standards that we've got to adhere to. We have to adhere to our RTO standards. And there's a really clear rule for RTO standards when it comes to marketing. And basically that is do what you say and say what you do. That's kind of my theory and my philosophy on it is just basically that you've got to be really clear in, as a student, when I'm getting into this, what is it that I'm expected to do? How is that course going to roll out? And key things when you come from that at a student angle is like, what's the duration? What's my time investment? And pretty much with international models, it's going to be 99% the same. So in the international space, it's going to be, generally 2 days a week face-to-face, and 4 hours of online, structured self-study. Some colleges do this straight 2.5 days a week. And then there's just a few colleges that'll do like 1 full week on and then the next week off, so kind of it'll alternate like 5 days and then nothing, like so 5 days 1 week, and so over the course of a fortnight it works out to be the 2.5 or the 20 hours a week. And then the vast majority of CRICOS RTOs will deliver their courses over terms, and generally those terms will align to the school terms that run in that particular state. But again, from a student's perspective, what is the duration of the course? That's that's actually going to be very, very important. So is it 6 months? Is it 12 months? 26 weeks, 52 weeks? And of that, the study is going to break down to kind of 20 weeks or 40 weeks. And then we want to know things like the fees. Okay, so how are the fees going to play out? And it's really important because particularly in the international market, we've obviously got tuition fees, which is what we're paying for the course, but you need to clearly outline what the resource fees are. So if we look at something like, commercial cookery, that might be that there's a separate set of fees and charges that we're going to charge for, the student's knife kit or their uniforms and things like that. You also want to have an outline somewhere on your website of all of your kind of incidental charges. So is there a charge for a reassessment of, a theory assessment or a practical assessment? Are those the same or are they different? Is there a fee for, are there late fees that are involved with paying your tuition fees? Are there fees that are involved in relationship to, printing of reprinting of documentation? Is there a fee to appeal or, things like that, which there shouldn't be, but, all of these little kind of incidental fees do need to be really, really clearly outlined on your website generally. And then there should be a link within the marketing materials that you're providing to students in relationship to this, so that the students can actually understand all of that. So, when they initially engage with your marketing, they should have a very clear picture of like, what is the course? What are the units involved? What is the duration of time from when I start the course to when I finish the course? What is my time investment over that period? I apologize for the background noise. And then what are all the fees that's going to charge me? And then I guess the last thing that I would be saying on that is also if there is a work placement component. So if we're looking at things like individual support or early childhood education, commercial cookery, if there is a work placement support, how does that look? When does that occur and who is responsible for organizing that? One of the things that has come out in quite a lot of audits is that particular piece of information on work placements has not been clearly communicated to students. And for example, RTOs have made it the student's responsibility to find their own work placement. And then, students have been stuck in a position where they were unable to get work placement, and then therefore that impeded them from being able to progress in the qualification. So it is really important that, particularly with some of those components, what is expected of the student is very, very clearly laid out. And I guess the last thing in and around that would be what would be any particular entry requirements. So IELTS levels that are required and things like that. Generally, there is a hope that RTOs will want students to jump through in relationship to demonstrating being a genuine temporary entrant, and that's something that we're going to cover in the enrollment phase. So, but standard 1 is generally what covers the requirements in relationship to marketing practices. So similar to how we've got standard 4 in the RTO standards, we've got standard 1 in the national code. And again, it just really clearly outlines that you should be providing very clear information to the student, about how the course is going to run, how it's going to operate, what is going to be required of the student, what are the fees and things like that associated with it. And then you want to make sure that that aligns to things like, your marketing materials, your TAS, your policies and procedures and things like that. The other thing that we cover within the national code is what can't be said. So, making sure that we're not promising things to students that we just can't promise. So, you can't promise a job outcome. You can't promise that you can't guarantee that they're going to complete the course. You can't guarantee that they're going to get a permanent residency visa out of it or anything along those lines. It is very, very important that you're not promising anything to the student that you can't deliver, or that may be seen as as an incentive, which would drive the student's enrollment. So, this is where, when we get later on into working with agents, it can be a little bit tricky to manage. And it's, it's something where you've got to very, very carefully monitor what your third-party agents are saying. But what we want to make sure is that as we then move from the marketing phase into the enrollment phase, we're limiting that chance that a student is going to turn around and say, well, I didn't know that, I had no idea, and we certainly don't want that occurring, after they've, halfway through through the course, or, after they've completed orientation. So, most of us nowadays, we've got websites, you will eventually get to a point where you've got an orientation, but certainly video is definitely the kind of probably the best medium that we have at the moment for, for ensuring that students will engage authentically with information. So, if you can put out a couple of short videos, I do encourage RTOs, especially international RTOs, to have a YouTube sort of a presence, where students can find information about, your policies and procedures, like the courses that you run, like how those courses run, words of, what were your graduates' experiences, just those little explainers of, hey, this is how our course fees work, or hey, this is how our diploma of leadership and management works, and these are the outcomes that you're going to get from it, and this is how it runs. And it just is a lot easier for students to digest, and particularly keeping in mind that these students are often English second language. Having a more visual medium rather than just kind of everything in writing is going to ensure that you're really reducing that potential for information to not be communicated well, particularly because it's often written by people like myself who are very, very academic. So, the more you can put this into plain language and you can make it a much more digestible medium, the better it's going to be. So that's just a little bit about marketing. You should have obviously a very clear process which outlines all of the key requirements. You should have a very, very clear marketing process, and your marketing should always come from your TAS. So it should, the first document you develop is your TAS in and around the courses, and then your marketing feeds out from that. And then you're feeding your marketing into any of your third parties. They are not to create their own. It is always something that you should be creating and disseminating out to them for them to use and refer them back to the website. And as I said, to things like your YouTube channel and things like that. Hope you guys found this helpful. My name is Lauren Hollows. We will continue next time with recruitment and enrollment of international students. I hope you found this helpful. This is our CRICOS RTO 101 series. My name is Lauren Hollows. Smash the like button. Give us a subscribe. Make a comment below if you would like to support us. We've got videos dropping every Wednesday and Sunday. Go outside, eat good food, be good to your friends and family. Have a wonderful day. This is Lauren from Anawaya Education Services.